Hey there, we are back for episode 2 of Foodservice versus TikTok. Steve McGoey here alongside Richard White, and we are super excited for today's episode. We have some amazing recipes, some really cool stuff to show you, and hey, we might actually learn something today too. Who knows? So what do you say? Should we get after it? Jay, roll the intro. All right, we're live. We're going to take it over to Richard, and he's going to tell you all about our show today.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back. Here we are with episode 2 of Foodservice versus TikTok. And this episode is so much fun because we're going to tackle ramen. I have seen so many, and I mean so many ramen videos on TikTok that I dream of ramen every night. But the reason why ramen is so important for us to do as an episode is because it is such a great food. It's wildly diverse. You can put almost anything into it, and it's highly profitable for your business. So today we're going to tackle a few different things of ramen, but the first thing we're going to jump onto is the clip that I saw that inspired this episode. It's a fun clip. You can see them using lots of different foods and making their ramen. Ramen, by the way, is a noodle and the dish. So yeah, it's an interchangeable word. So anyways, Jay's going to roll us a clip of a TikTok video that inspired this one. Have at it, Jay.
Yeah.
That looks like some slow-mo stuff there.
Very slow. Little slow-mo action happening there.
Well, you can kind of get the idea of what's happening here. Okay, there we go. It just zipped to the end and skipped a lot of the stuff in the middle. I guess there was a lag there, but I think he did some caramelized pork bellies there and some different things.
Yeah.
So great video. I loved it. I loved all the different textures and colors that were in that dish. So we're going to recreate a couple today. I challenged Chef Steve to make a dish that has no broth. And that's, one of the quintessential parts of a ramen dish is the broth. So anyways, I'm going to pass the baton over to you, Steve, and you can show everybody what you came up with. Have at it.
Yeah, see, you know what? I loved this challenge. And it was funny. When Richard challenged me to this, I had a little secret in my pocket. Back a few years ago, I was traveling through Japan, and I came across just this type of dish. It was a brothless ramen, essentially a bowl of noodles with lots of great ingredients, some really cool sauces. And I asked my travel partner, who happened to be my brother, I said, "What is this?" And he said, "Well, locally, this is known as a maziman." And I said, "A maziman? What is that?" He said, "Maze means to mix or to blend, and man is the noodle. So maziman is a noodle dish that you mix without broth." So I was like, chalk that one up in the memory bank. And guess what? Richard challenged me to it, and out of the vault it came. So I'm going to show you my version of a maziman, but I'm going to do a breakfast maziman. And as Richard said, ramen is so diverse. You can use it on all different day parts. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's very interchangeable. And really, unless you're putting like foie gras or like A5 Wagyu on it, it's pretty profitable. Lots of money to be made on this kind of stuff. So let me show you my version of a breakfast maziman, or a brothless ramen. So first of all, I'm going to take my ramen bowl, very traditional, and I'm going to add a little bit of sauce to the bottom. I'm actually going to be using Lynch's maple chili sauce, which is fantastic. I'm going to put that at the bottom of the bowl. So I'll place that in here. And again, remember, the whole idea is to mix this afterwards. So that sauce is going to sit on the bottom, waiting for other ingredients to all mix together. Next, I'm going to place my ramen noodles into my bowl that already has that maple chili sauce, which is so delicious. A nice amount of noodles, still leaving lots of room in the bowl to mix. And then from there, what I'm taking is some bacon that I've caramelized and candied in more of that maple chili sauce. So, so good. I'm going to place that on one side of the bowl, just like such. Be generous. It's breakfast. People are hungry. Lots of nice candied bacon there. And then, here we go. We're going to keep building. I'm actually going to add a little bit of seaweed salad for some color, a little bit of green in there. Really nice mixture with these ingredients. And then a little pickled ginger for some color as well. It's going to work really well with this dish. Fantastic. Then, wouldn't be breakfast without some eggs. So I have soft poached some eggs perfectly. I'm going to place these on top. And the neat trick with these is the yolk is going to become part of the sauce. When I break it, open the egg, the yolk's going to flow all over the noodles. And when you mix it together, you're going to get an absolutely beautiful sauce. I've got my poached eggs there. I'm going to finish it off with some sesame seeds, a little bit of Japanese seasoning, salt, and hey, why not? Let's put a little nori on there. And that is my version, I accepted, of a brothless ramen known as a maziman. You can take a really close look here and watch this action. You're gonna bust that egg open. All that yolk's gonna run all over the noodles. We're gonna mix it all together and have an absolute amazing breakfast. So there you have it, Mr. White. I took this challenge, I ran with it. Now let's see if you can take on my challenge. I think, if I remember, I challenged you to make a vegan ramen. Let's see what you got.
All right. All right. You know what? That looked good. And I can tell you, anyone sitting in a restaurant that gets a poached egg cut open and the yolk falling out over your food, I'm telling you right there, that's some award-winning stuff right there. And yes, you did challenge me, the meat guy from Leicester's, to a vegan ramen. And I'm going to do a little vegan ramen, but I'm going to put it onto a kid's menu because I find that when you go out to restaurants, the weakest part of the experience is always what are you going to feed the kids? We've all been there. It's chicken fingers, it's pizza, it's a hamburger, it's a hot dog. Not that I got anything against hot dogs. Jesus, my bread and butter every day. But what happens if you're a vegan and your kids are vegan, or you want your kids to eat vegan, or just you want something different? Well, that's what we're going to come up with today. So I came up with what's going to be a vegan, essentially, ramen and cheese sauce. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to simply take the ramen noodles. I'm just going to strain these ones off here really quick because they're just about done here. And then I'm going to put them into a cheese sauce. I'm going to put them into a cheese sauce that I made with soy milk, some nutritional yeast, a little bit of stock, like veggie stock, obviously, and a little bit of tapioca powder. And that came together to make a really nice, like, vegan cheese sauce without getting into that fake vegan cheese product that doesn't always go so well. So I got my noodles. I got my cheese sauce. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a mix here, as you can see. Oh, it's nice. And look at that. Like that right there. That's ooey gooey fake. You wouldn't believe it's not real cheese sauce. It's fantastic. So I'm just going to put that into a bowl. I actually, in my kitchen, because we feed a lot of people in this house every day, I have a lot of restaurant dishes here from my old days, still kicking around. So I actually have a dish here. I'm going to pull out some broccoli, because if the number one vegetable for kids is broccoli, they love this stuff. So just some steamed broccoli along the side here. Oh, look at that. That's nice. You can give it a little bit of a little garnish. And off you go. So here we have it. That there is what you call vegan ramen. And it's for a kid's menu. And I'm going to tell you, any kid's going to eat this up. It tastes just like real mac and cheese, but it's ramen. And because you made it with the ramen noodle, it's actually going to hold up great over time. And it's not going to get all soft and mushy. It's going to perform really well in the kitchen. Super easy to make. 4 minutes to make a ramen noodle. 2 minutes to make the sauce and some steamed veggies. It's a winner vegan dinner. Cheers. All right, so we're gonna take a quick second for a commercial break so you can hear from our lovely sponsors, and then we are going to come back because Chef Steve has his part of his personal recipe that he wants to do, and he's going to show us what he did with a ramen dish without any sort of a challenge. So, anyways, let's roll the thing, and we'll come back to Chef Steve.
At Lynch Foods, we're passionate about flavor. As a Canadian custom manufacturer, we've been developing high-quality products for our customers for over 80 years. Sauces, dressings, gravy and soup mixes, toppings and syrups for ice cream and milkshakes, all in packaging ranging from individual portions to retail and bulk formats. For food service, healthcare, or as industrial ingredients, our processing expertise, innovation kitchen, and research and development team partner to create and provide solutions. Our excellent customer service, world-class certified food safety standards, and experienced nationwide sales force can support your business locally, be a trusted partner, and inspire endless possibilities.
Oh, I think you're
Hey, I wonder
muted.
if Oh,
You were muted
am
there.
I off mute? Oh, I was muted. Hey, I was just going to say, that was a really cool commercial. I wonder if they had to hire a hand model for all that food work. Wait a second. No, they didn't. That was me. Just kidding around. Nicely done. All right. So my second dish is going to be a little bit more of a traditional ramen. And I think sometimes food service operators, cringe at the idea of having to offer a ramen or a noodle dish on their menu because they think that you have to bring in all kinds of different, funky ingredients, and, you're only going to get, minimal use out of them. Then you're going to waste them, and food cost is going to go up and all that kind of stuff. But I'm here to let you know you don't have to do that. You can make an amazing ramen dish using pretty common things you'll probably find in your pantry at your restaurant. So I'm going to do a chicken ramen using noodles, obviously using chicken. But the kicker is how I made my broth, which I think is really cool. And this doesn't, require you to have to bring in a separate ramen broth. I used a chicken soup base and a teriyaki sauce. So I used Lynch's Gold chicken soup base and Jade Mountain's teriyaki sauce, and I combined those together to create this really cool broth. On their own, chicken soup base is chicken soup base. Most people have some type of stock or a soup base in their restaurant. And teriyaki sauce is teriyaki sauce. But when you put them together, you get this beautiful umami flavor that you're looking for when you're trying and you're eating ramen. So two very common ingredients you may find in your restaurant, you put them together and all of a sudden you've got a beautiful broth that works perfectly in this application. So let me show you what I did. I took, like I said, those two ingredients and I combined them together for my broth. But whenever I like to make traditional ramen with a broth, I like to add my noodles first. That way you can gauge the proper and appropriate amount of broth to surround the noodles with. So I'm going to add my noodles to my bowl first. That way it'll give me a guide as far as how much broth to put in afterwards. So in go my noodles. Beautiful. Center of the bowl, looking great. Then, now I've got a better idea of how much broth to put in. You'll be able to see the beautiful coloration of the broth. Again, combining that fantastic soup base that we make here at Lynch, as well as the Jade Mountain teriyaki sauce. Gorgeous flavors, really nice, earthy, rich color that you get. And that, to me, is a nice amount of broth. You still see the noodles. They're not totally submerged. And they go. So next, I'm going to add some asparagus that I've just lightly steamed, provide a little bit of green. I'm then going to add some sauteed cremini mushrooms. Sorry, shiitake mushrooms, my bad. Those are going to go in there. Again, nice earthy mushrooms, nice and caramelized, just lightly seasoned with some salt, pepper. Place those to the side. Okay. Then some radish that I've just soaked in a little bit of sugar water. That's going to keep them nice and crunchy, but also have a little bit of sweetness that'll help complement some of those sweet notes that come from that teriyaki sauce. Then, I'm going to add my chicken. This chicken I had marinated in that same teriyaki sauce, which gives that skin that beautiful dark coloration you're seeing. I'm just going to place that on the side of the dish like that. I'm going to finish it off with a few chili flakes, a little bit of heat, a couple really nicely slant cut green onions on there, a little bit of nori on top, and holy smokes, you just created a pretty phenomenal ramen dish utilizing things that you already have in your restaurant. Beautiful broth, utilizing that soup base and teriyaki, chicken breast, pretty common, some nori, some mushrooms, some onions, some radish. And again, I think Richard said at the beginning, these are so interchangeable. This is just one version, but you could add anything to a dish that makes it a ramen. And this was my take on it. It's delicious. It looks attractive. It looks fantastic. And I tell you, not a lot of cost in here, which equals big profit. So enjoy that. We're going to take it back over to Richard.
Wow. I don't know how to say wow big enough. The presentation on that, Steve, was out of this world. You know, I guess that's why you are who you are, man. You're the man. You know, I got some viewer feedback here. Our friend Rick Wassel over at Silver Group Purchasing made a comment about how white my kitchen is. I'd like to thank him for that. I worked very hard to make a perfectly white show kitchen in my white house. It's white inside and out. I can tell you, I just love the color. Anyways, and another viewer feedback that we got from somebody was to say, why ramen noodles and why not just angel hair pasta or some Scooby-Doos or whatever when you're making this kind of stuff? And the answer is in the recipe and how you actually make a ramen noodle. It's not just pasta. They use a little bit of an ingredient called alkaline salt. Now, I'm not a food scientist. Alkaline salt's going to be something that's going to be very hard for you to find unless you're into a specialty shop in an urban center. Where if you're like me up here and you want to make ramen noodles, kind of need to go back to 12th grade chemistry class. And so you basically need a sodium carbonate into your salt. And so you can take a sodium bicarbonate, which would be baking soda. And if you remove the H, so like the water from it, by baking it in the oven and drying it right out, it would become sodium carbonate. And then you mix that with salt and you should have an alkaline salt. Now, you might want to Google that recipe if you can't get a hold of some alkaline salt and you want to make your own noodles from scratch, or you can just go to the grocery store and for 99 cents buy yourself a package of ramen. Whatever floats your boat. Okay, so for my challenge today, for me, I wanted to pay a little bit of homage to not only Lester's food. I'm going to use our smoked Texas-style brisket as part of my ramen dish, but also, you know, around the holiday times, my family enjoys Scotch eggs. And I think I actually pitched Scotch eggs as an item for Lester's to make someday down the road if we ever get that ability. So first things first, we're going to talk about the noodles. I made my noodles from scratch. I mean, I made them happen from a package. I just messed that up a little bit there, you know. So I would start like you did with the noodles in the bowl, like this. I'm going to give a little shout out to Miners. I used your Chipotle stock, your Chipotle paste base for the base on this one. I really like the way that Chipotle works with the smokiness of the brisket from Lester's. So I've got that going on in there. And then what I did here is I just took our pulled smoked Texas brisket and I just sauteed it off here with some fresh leeks. The leeks give it that nice little earthy pungentness that the beef likes, and then the smokiness and the beef flavor coming out of that brisket is legendary. So I'm just going to put that on top like this. You don't need very much to make this go a long way. Pulled brisket is a very rich meat, and you don't need to put a ton of it on people's plates for them to feel absolutely full. So we're just going to go with that little bit there. And then last but not least, Scotch egg. For the magic of television, I actually made this up about 20 minutes ago on my own and just had it sitting in the oven, fitting off and getting it nice and perfect. For those of you who don't know what a Scotch egg is, first thing you need to do is come by my house on Christmas morning, get out a bottle of Scotch. Get out the eggs out of the refrigerator, hard-boiled egg without the shell, a seasoned sausage meat around the hard-boiled egg, double panko coated, deep fried, and I like to finish them off in the oven a little bit just to make sure they're cooked all the way through. Nothing worse than having seasoned ground pork not being cooked all the way through to ruin your Christmas. So that's what that is right there. I'm just going to cut this in half and see if it's cooked through and what it looks like on the inside. Hopefully it's beautiful. It's live television. You never know what's going to happen. Oh my goodness. Look at that. And that's what it should look like. Fully cooked all the way through. It'd be nice if I could have a little bit of run to that yolk, but in a restaurant, I don't think you can get away with that so easily. You're going to have the folks at the county coming in and saying, I don't know if I like that so much. They want to see their eggs cooked all the way through. Give it a little bit of a quick final seasoning here before it goes out. And that there is the ramen that I've decided to make. So we have our Miners Chipotle stock on a packaged ramen noodle, Lester's pulled smoked Texas brisket with some sauteed leeks, and of course you can't go wrong with Scotch eggs on the top. So that's what I would do. And then I guess if you wanted to finish this off perfectly, our friends over at the Bent Taco always like to give out reusable containers when they give us food. I stole this from your office, Steve. This is Lynch's barbecue sauce. And that's lunch, people. Enjoy. All right, so that's the end of my recipes. That's the end of your recipes. So I guess all that's left to do is wrap up. So I'm going to pass the mic back over to you. What's going to happen?
Am I unmuted?
You're good.
Yes. All right, good. Hey, listen, Richard, that was amazing. Honestly, that looked really, really cool. Well done. But I think maybe off air, we may have to talk about incorporating a segment called Richard White, the Science Guy. Because I tell you, your knowledge of alkalinity and how to make noodles and all that kind of stuff, I had no idea. So, this is going to take our show to a whole new level. Richard White, Foodservice versus TikTok. Richard White, the Science Guy. Oh my God, I don't know what's going to happen, but that was pretty cool.
I'm not no science guy.
But hey, listen, this was a lot of fun to do. Ramen is an amazing platform for you to utilize ingredients in your restaurant, have some fun, make some really cool stuff, make some money, like I said. But this was a great one. And listen, we can't wait for our third episode. We have no idea what we're going to do yet, but we are going to come up with something amazing. We're going to watch hours upon hours of TikTok videos, lose days of our life watching this stuff to come up with something amazing. But if you guys have something you want to see us tackle, you want to challenge Richard or I to a TikTok challenge, giddy up. Just reach out to us, and we would be happy to oblige. So in the meantime, Richard, this was awesome, brother. Looking forward to the next one.
Hey, thanks a lot. Off to lunch. Take care.
See you guys.